Alright, I'm going to try and paint the river today. See how far I get. Got a few pieces here. Might be get it all finished, but going to use my basics here. I always, here's my earth tones. I've got a khaki tan. There's a burnt sienna. Makes good for rocks. The khaki tan will be kind of a overall throughout the rock area there, and then I'll use the burnt sienna for various rocks, and the cocoa will be various rocks. And I've also got zinc and slate gray. I'll just kind of randomly paint some of the different rocks on here just to make it more interesting. And then these are kind of my plant terrain. I've got black forest green. I've got a Hauser medium green, and this is foliage. It's a different brand, Folk Art. Most of the paint I use is Deco Art, but I've already got that. On the earth tones, I also have the bleach sand. I'm going to use that for my dry brush on everything, and that's the same with the foliage. I'll use the foliage to do a dry brush on the plants area. And then the water, I've got a primary blue and a Provence sky. That'll give me a couple different tones. I saw another someone else's photographs where they had painted, and they had kind of used some green with the blue, which gives it, I thought, a pretty natural color. Had that blue greenish kind of water look to it. So I might try and attempt that as well. But for the first part here, I am going to start with this khaki tan. Move all these paints over here out of the way. And I'll use this khaki tan just to kind of paint the bulk of the areas there. Pour some here onto my expensive palette here. All right, let's start off. Just kind of paint it on. I used to primer all these resin prints beforehand, but it was probably the primer I was using, but I had some problems getting the acrylic paint not to pull away. So there's probably better primers out there, but I found that the acrylic paint sticks to the just raw resin very well. I'll have to see how that goes long term. Maybe the acrylic paint will peel off the resin after a while. I don't know. That will be, time will tell. But I'm just going to keep on painting all these areas here like that until I finish this color. Hey Google, play music.
Okay, playing Spotify.
Hey Google, stop playing. All right, that is the base coat on all of these. Guess I should double check before I put my paint away. That looks good. That looks good. Maybe a little bit more right there. Okay. Yeah. Looks good. Put a little bit more right here just because the map that I'm making, the river's been dammed up. So there's a little dry area where the water has gone away. So that's going to be this little spot right here. So I'm going to put some ground coloring in this area. And then the water will continue on that side for the rest of it. Normally I would just paint it all water so I could use it for multiple things. But I do need a special piece for this map, and that's the piece I'm going to use. Okay, so we clean that all up, wash out our brush, and we move on to the next color, which could be I think I'll do more of that than this one, so I will do cocoa next. And to start painting random rocks, I'll just randomly choose a rock and don't have to clean the brush too good because it's going back into some more brown paint. Probably want to switch to a different brush, something a little smaller. That I don't mind destroying on terrain. That's not much smaller. What do I have? Maybe I'll use that one. They've already been damaged from the train I've already painted in the past. That's why I buy the cheap brushes, because they just get destroyed on terrain. I've got a separate set of brushes for painting miniatures. So since I'm not using this brush, again, I'm going to clean it just a little bit better than it was. All right, let's throw some cocoa down. I thinned it down the other day and probably did a little too much. Okay, let's start with this little piece. paint on there, and I'm just going to start randomly picking rocks. Got to be a little more careful this time because I don't want these colors everywhere. Just in some random spots. But it's got to be just the rock that I'm painting. I'll do this little guy right there. And I'll do that one. Since it's by the water, I haven't done the water yet, so I can just slop it on there. Okay, that's enough for that. Grab the next piece and just keep going. Hey Google, play music.
Sure, playing Spotify.
One safe. Down, it's a race to the bottom.
Google, stop playing. Okay, that finishes the cocoa color. Put the extra back into the bottle. And I think I'll switch over to that burnt sienna now. But I'm gonna need to find my better brush because I gotta stay within the rocks now. No more sloppy painting. Gotta try and keep it within just the rock itself. As I get into more detail, so I'll take that. I'm also going to use zinc for some darker colored tiles. Let's see. I don't have. Oh, I could use that. Probably not. To get into my better brushes box because I'm going to use one of these. Not that one. Not that one. Keep that one good for my minis. Maybe this one. It's already seeing some wear and tear. Yep. Gonna go with that one. It's already got some damage, kind of. All right, raw sienna. Alright, let's move those out. Start with the little guy. Gonna be hitting some smaller rocks this time. So I gotta be a lot more precise. Keep a good wet brush. Paint's already a little on the dry side. Being a lot more careful this time. Hey Google, play music.
All right, playing Spotify.
Google, stop playing. Alright, well, I got way too much of that paint out. And I'm not going to use my good brush to scoop it back. So let's drop him into the water. I don't need to squirt near that much paint out. Just doing a few little rocks. Starting to take shape though. You can kind of see some color splashed in. That's kind of my earth tones. So now I'm going to go with that zinc. It's a dark gray. So that'll be a nice contrast to this really dark red burnt sienna. All right, so zinc is up next. I'm going to paint some of the bigger stones with the zinc. That's probably enough, considering what I did last time. Okay. Repeat with a new color. So I'm going to focus on some of these bigger stones here. I like to think that this dark zinc rock is kind of a harder rock. So it's going to produce bigger stones maybe, I don't know. If I try to keep to the same theory each time, then maybe my terrain will kind of match itself. Okay, I guess some of these little rocks would be zinc as well. Just kind of randomly hit some little areas, just a splash of color here and there. Let's do this one. This big stone there. With each new color I add, I have to be more and more careful about not hitting the rocks I've already painted. So I usually start with my darker colors first and work my way to lighter. I did the cocoa color just because it was going to be more of it, but it's actually, I think I did more of the burnt sienna than I thought I was going to. But I'm just going to keep hitting some rocks here like I've done before. Hey Google, play music.
Okay, here's Spotify.
Hey Google, stop playing. All right, that finishes the zinc, I think. So I'll got way too much of that out as well. So I'll be putting a lot of this back in. Not that I need to save it, because this paint's really cheap. And it goes a long, long ways. I've been using this bottle for a while now. All right. Ready for the next color of rock. I think I'll do some of the slate gray. I'm going to take a break for a second.